Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of Model Release. Today I have a very special guest with me for episode 2. She's a model, content creator. She's a body positive activist, a real voice for the girls looking to break into the industry, especially for the girls in the European Asian community looking to start modeling. Just really a genuine person that I've come across here in LA in modeling. She is a member of the Good Squad by Good American by Khloe Kardashian. She's modeled for NYX by Ashley Graham, Yitty by Lizzo, and everyone you could think of. Today we have Sharon Clawson.
Hi, thank you so much
excited.
for having me. Oh my gosh. No, I was just thinking, as soon as you sent me this project, I was like, absolutely. Like, I had to be a part of it. It's so exciting. And thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you, and I think we met back in, I don't know if we met at a casting or an event, but I want to say maybe in 2022.
I want to say yes, because I think it was post-COVID.
Yeah,
And
it was right after COVID, yeah.
Yes, it was literally right after that. And I just remember like having you on social media for the longest time.
Yeah.
So I just remember seeing you in person. I was like, oh my gosh, I know her. Like, I have to go say hi. So,
Yeah, you were so nice. You're like seriously one of the nicest people ever.
oh my God. Thank you. That's so
I
sweet.
swear. I swear. It's
Oh my
very
gosh.
refreshing.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. No, and just like I felt literally the same about you, and it was just like so glad we finally crossed paths because that's I think like the funny thing about the industry. Like you could have people on social media for years, but you know eventually like you're gonna cross that person's path for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to learn a little bit more about you with the viewers. So first we're going to get into the journey. What first drew you to LA and how did you get started in your career?
I just knew that if this was something that I wanted to pursue, I was gonna have to come to LA for it. Because being from Sacramento, there wasn't really much you could do. Even the jobs that I did pick up were either local to the city or in the Bay Area. And even then, getting those jobs, like, I would look on Craigslist to see what I can find, you know?
Right.
But I just figured, you know
Wait,
what?
Craigslist for modeling?
Yes!
Wait, I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, we need some background on that.
Girl,
Craigslist?
yes, Craigslist. And I was actually just telling this story not too long ago, I think earlier this week, to a friend of mine. And she was like, girl, I've literally known you all these years. Why are you just telling me the story? And I'm like,
Right. I've never heard that. That's impressive. Shout out to Craigslist.
shout out to Craigslist, you know? But I just remember like the backstory to that specifically. It was 2019. I wanted to make it to the in-person Sports Illustrated swim casting.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was like, I needed money and I needed money quick. So there was Craigslist, enter Craigslist. And there were like a few postings and I'm like, this seems shady, but I'm gonna do it. And it was indeed shady. It was 2 male photographers and it was like some implied stuff where I'm just like, I can't believe I'm doing this, but
Oh my gosh.
you do what you gotta do for the dream. And
Yeah.
and that was like my ticket to get to Miami and do that. So that moment I knew like if I'm willing to do that, then I just need to go like full force in my career
Yeah.
and what I want to do. And LA is just gonna have to be the place to do that.
If that's not doing what it takes, I don't know what is, but I honestly, that's admirable because I think we all have our little story like that, but wow, Craigslist.
Yes, Craigslist.
They're part of the journey.
Period. Shout out.
What was the moment you knew you wanted to pursue modeling full time?
For me, seeing Ashley Graham on the cover of SI Swim 2016, funny enough, a little backstory. So I used to do pageants when I was a little girl, like in my preteen years, like starting at 11. I was really shy, nervous. Like even my mom, she would enter me in like the little talent section. So I would be singing. I was not good by any means, but it was fun. It was a good way for me to get out of my shell a little bit. But then I gave myself a break for so long because I didn't see any other girls that looked like me. I felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb. I didn't feel like I was relatable or could relate to anyone. And it was just such a huge stab to my self-esteem. So I took a break for so long. And then when I saw that pivotal, iconic moment that I feel so many girls can relate
Yeah,
to,
I remember that like it was yesterday.
like it was
Yeah.
yesterday. That, and also when Ashley Graham did her TED Talk, that was
Mm-hmm.
probably
Oh yeah, the TED Talk was really good.
so good. And I still remember it until this day. Like, even every now and then, if I need a little pick me up, like, I go back to that specific TED Talk.
Yeah,
So she
for
definitely
sure.
plays.
And
Yeah.
how crazy for you to, well, for you and all of us to look up to her, and that's someone that you worked for and with and were on set with. Like, how
Girl.
insane is that?
So it's such a full circle moment. And I think it's moments like that that remind me I need to keep going. Because I think
For
anyone
sure.
who's in the industry, we have those moments of doubt. I feel like it's always a part of the journey. But then I have to remind myself that it's so much bigger than me,
Right.
that this is for representation for girls who look like me, who never had that or somebody to look up to. So, like, being in a position where I can do that, I'm just so grateful.
So amazing. Oh,
Thanks.
I love this. I love this. I'm like,
Thank
this
you.
is making me so excited and inspired.
Oh.
Can you share a story of when you felt like giving up and what kept you going?
Gosh, I think this was so there was a point where I didn't know if I was gonna make enough money to keep my career going, because I'm sure for a lot of people in the industry who know, like, it's a constant investment, like whether you're
Right.
getting like updated images done, or whether like you're gonna have to do a lot of jobs for free.
Right.
You kind of wonder, like, okay, where's this going? What am I doing? And I think I had one of those moments a couple years ago where I thought I'd hit rock bottom. Like, financially, I was not doing well. And I thought, okay, do I just give up? Do I listen to my mom? Do I get a state job? Because I used to be a nursing major, and I went to school for 4 years for it.
Yeah.
But then it just took that one class that I couldn't pass. And I was like, you know what? F it. I'm not doing this anymore. This is not for me. But then I realized that I would just be doing such a disservice if I did that.
Right.
And I thought, like, I took so many different leaps of faith and risks on this journey
Right.
to get here, where it's like, I can't just stop now. Like, this is just the beginning, and it's these moments that lead to a success story. And
For
I feel like
sure.
these are going to be the things that other girls who are maybe in a similar position as me are going to need to hear in order
Yeah.
to keep going.
For sure. I feel like we might have talked about this when we shot content in Santa Monica that day. Does that feel like that time frame?
Around that time frame,
Yeah, because I think that I had like freshly gone through a breakup, and obviously, like, if you're living with a partner and now you're on your own, like, that changes a lot. So I think I can relate to, like, I've invested so much time and effort, like, I can't give up now. Like, you have to continue going. Like, you never know when your big break is gonna be, and it's probably like right when you think it's over.
Absolutely. You know
For
what's so
sure.
funny? I was looking through my camera roll and I saw that one video you took of me in a yellow dress and I did that spin. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I just remember that day like it was yesterday.
I know. Like,
Crazy.
yeah, so much has changed, like, in your career since then too. So
Yeah, and I feel like so much has changed for the both of us,
yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Was that like 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago, right after COVID, right
Yeah,
after the pandemic.
around that time frame. That's crazy.
Yes. Look at us now.
Look at us now, period.
I was crying 2 years ago, but we're here.
Girl.
Moving on to the career. What was your first major break and how did it change your career?
You know what's so funny? How we were just talking about 2022 and how we were both literally just in such tough spots and positions. You going
Yeah.
through a breakup and that was so fresh, and me wondering, okay, what's my next move? What am I going to do? And that's the scary thing about the industry, where it's just like, financially you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know
Right.
when you're going to book it. But I think my moment was when I got the news that I booked the Good American
Yeah.
like campaign, which
Huge.
was
That's major.
so crazy. I was not expecting it. I just remember when they were doing open castings, I submitted online. But I think this was also because it was slightly past COVID. Not a lot of people knew about the casting. So I just
Yeah.
like applied for it online, and I got the email saying like, hey, come back in, and we want to meet you in person for like the open casting. But I guess they
Yeah.
separated the open from like those who were invited to come back.
I
And
think I remember that slightly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then so I just remember going into the mall and I didn't know who anyone was. And then there sat Emma, and like my first words to her, because she was like mid bite, like taking a break, and I was like, "You're so cute." Those were literally my first words to her. And then she was like, "You're so cute." And just, I don't know, when I sat down with her and had a conversation about like why I'm doing this and my journey, what it's been like, and what I hope to do, I just felt like she sat there with just like open arms, open ears. Like literally, I felt like I was talking to a friend.
That's so awesome.
She was just so sweet.
She is really sweet. I think I was able to meet her briefly at a fitting there, and she was so sweet. Their whole team is really nice.
Oh no, they are all just so incredible.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Oh
you
my
deserve
gosh.
it though. I like loved seeing that for you because I'm like I know it takes so much, and I think you were working like overnight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're working like overnight and you were stressed and this and that. So like when I see friends I know just like doing their thing and there's just so much on the back end that people don't know about, it's like I'm like even more excited for you
Oh
because
my
I know it takes a lot.
I mean, the fact you remember that, first of all, you're a real one. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was working a seasonal job at a warehouse,
Yeah.
and I just remember just working these insane, like 12 to 16-hour shifts, graveyard. I was like, how am I going to do this? Because even then, I was barely, making ends meet, and I just didn't know what my next move was going to be. I didn't know what I was going to do. And so they
Yeah.
decided, because it was a seasonal job, that they just laid me off after. And I'm like, all right, so
All right,
what's next? I don't know.
just gonna pray on that one.
Yeah,
Oh
literally.
my gosh. But yeah, I think that's important for people to know because again, like I think that job too, working overnight allowed you to be available. So that's a big thing for the industry. It's like, all right, make enough money to live in Los Angeles, but also be available for all of these dream jobs that might pop up. Like
Yeah,
you just have to be ready. Nails done, hair done, body care done, hair done, like
everything.
skin together,
Girl.
but also be
Yeah.
able to juggle it all. So it just takes a lot. So I definitely think it's good for people to know because it's not easy, like at all.
No, not
Not
at
even
all,
close.
girl. That's why I'm just like, the struggle was real, and I still have my moments now where I feel like I'm drowning, but then I have to take a step back and remember, no, girl, like where you were 2, 3 years ago was way different, way worse of a position than you are now. Like you will figure it out. You're going to always figure it out.
Yeah, I swear, even to this day, I will say out loud, usually when I'm getting ready, like, I can do hard things and I'm like protected. I say that every day because I'm like,
Yes.
we've done hard things, so it can only get better and work out because it always really does in the end, for sure.
Absolutely. I love that. Do you have any other affirmations for yourself?
I have a lot, but there's actually this meme that has stuck in my head recently, and it was things started working out when I realized steps backward were a part of the dance. And that like stuck with me. Like that's just been in my head. Like when something bad happens or I'm going through something tough, I'm like, okay, when I'm taking a step back, it has to like catapult me forward. So that's just like been my,
Period.
like in a couple months, I just like that's been in my head.
That's literally so perfect and profound.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I might actually have to steal that, because one that I've heard, and I just kind of ran with it for these last couple years, with a big heart, you'll always win. You can never lose.
Yeah.
And I
love
think,
that.
yeah,
So true.
it's so true. And I feel like when you move in such a genuine space, and when you move with just like kindness, I feel like you can't lose. Even in situations where you felt like you did, it's just like, no, this happened for a reason, for sure.
Definitely. The real always prevail. Yes.
Period. Yes.
What do you wish you knew when you first started?
How hard it was gonna be. I think
Not for the weak.
it's not for the weak. No, not at all. And I think about that so often, where I'm just like, because I think also this is where social media, I feel like, really comes into play sometimes, because a lot of people can use it to, just really highlight the good things that happen in their life, which
Yep.
I'm all for people winning, like when I see other peers like booking a serious campaign, like a major job that I know that they dreamt of, that makes me so
Yeah.
happy for them.
Definitely.
but I feel for the people who don't really know them and what they had to go through to get that. They're just like, oh, well, this person did X, Y, and Z. But
Right.
you don't really know what that person went through to
Right.
get to that point. So, like, I'm always rooting for anyone
For sure. It
that's
takes
doing
guts
it. It
to
takes
do all of this.
guts, courage. It's a bold, different kind of person to
Right.
be able to pursue it, because it's like it's constant uncertainty, you know? Like, even
Definitely.
today I was on the phone with my mom, and she's just like, why don't you get a state job? And mind you, she knows about all the things that I've done, and I'm just like, all right, mom, that's fine.
Like, no, we're gonna keep going. We're
We're
gonna
gonna
keep going.
right. I did not come
Yeah.
this far just to come this far.
Literally,
Yeah.
literally. I feel that. Crazy. How do you handle rejection, and what strategies have you developed to stay resilient?
I think with rejection, it's knowing that it's never personal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember at first, I would just really beat myself down over certain things that I would get rejected for. And I would think, like, was I too weird? Was I too off? Which that was actually a huge insecurity of mine when I first moved down here. Because I was like, am I too strange for people? Like, do people maybe feel like they can't connect with me? Because my friends who know me know, like, how weird I am. So it's just,
I'm definitely weird myself.
right, exactly. So I just like, but I admire that about people. I'm like,
Yeah.
show me how weird you are, because
Literally.
I love it so much. So that was like a huge insecurity of mine. So I was like, did that casting director think I was like X, Y, and Z? And then there was a friend of mine, and I don't know how she got this information, but she was saying like a casting director didn't book me for a certain job because of my lower belly fat or something, because they were looking for like a certain, yeah, they were looking for a certain kind of curve girl, you know, with the skinny waist, like the proportions.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have that. Like, I've always had, you know, a lower belly. Like, I haven't had the perfect proportionate body. So I really beat myself up over that. And I'm like, am I just going to be in this constant loop of trying to break these molds in an industry that won't accept me? But then I realize, like, I have to make room and space for that. Like,
Right.
they're not going to do it. Like, I'm just going to have to do it myself. But I think the things that also help me is like spending time with people that I genuinely love and care about. Like,
Right.
I'm so lucky and blessed to have my bestie. She's been my bestie for over 12 years now.
Mm-hmm.
She lives like a hop and a skip over the bridge away from me.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
like
awesome.
20 minutes, and she keeps me so grounded. I tell her all the time, and she agrees, like, we're extensions of each other. Like,
That's amazing.
that's my sister.
The power of friendship. Friends are everything, honestly.
Everything.
Like, I don't think I can't do anything by myself. Like,
Right.
I'm like, I need my friends, I need my family, I need my mom. Like, it's so hard to just stay confident and stay true to yourself, especially when you're doing something where you're trying to live up to a standard, and then the standard is always changing. So it's like you have to just like stay where you're at, and then just be ready when the blessings come, you know?
Absolutely, because they're always going to make it your way. And I've always believed whatever's meant for you isn't going to miss you. And if
Right.
it wasn't for you in that moment, like, your time is coming.
Definitely.
For sure. And like, I've always believed that. And I think also moving with that mentality is like, okay, this was somebody else's opportunity to have. This wasn't mine, and that's okay.
Yeah.
My time isn't going to miss me.
I love that. I love that. Snaps to that.
Yes.
Moving on to life in LA. that title in itself is just like, whoo, it's crazy out here. How do you balance your career with your personal life in a crazy city like LA?
Gosh.
Insane city.
So crazy. Oh gosh, okay. So I've been in California all my life, like born and raised in Sacramento, moving down here, and anyone who's like from up north, like, you know, it's a total 180. So I'm blessed to say, like, I'm from California, so it wasn't like an insane change, but it still also is like, whoa, LA is still in a way a totally different beast.
Right.
So I think, like, you know, life in LA, I have friends, like I mentioned, my bestie of over 12 years, like having her here has made all the difference. And like the genuine people that I have met, because you never know, like if someone, you know, wants to be a part of your life because you would benefit them, or you just don't know like what's genuine. And I
Right.
think it could go for both like friendships and relationships and dating.
Definitely.
We're not going to get into dating yet, but we will get into dating.
Dating is crazy.
Dating is crazy. I know. Like, anyways, yeah. So life in LA, life in LA has been journey. Life's a journey. Um, I think just having incredible and grounded people in my life, because even like this last year too, I think of moments where I have to pick up part-time jobs. I'm not gonna lie, you
Yeah,
know, like
same. We all do.
we all do.
We all do.
Yeah.
Whether people will tell you or not, we all do.
We all do. And
Yeah.
it's just, I think that also keeps me grounded because I
Hmm.
also meet like phenomenal people at my work. Like, my part time, I can't even say I'm like a bartender, but more like a beer tender because I serve like beer and cider.
Hmm.
So, like, a beer tender, and I love like the people I meet, whether it's like my coworkers or
Yeah.
or like the customers at where I work.
Hmm.
Like, that getting away from, you know, like the professionalism of the
Yeah.
industry, that for sure keeps me grounded and I love it. It's like an outlet for me.
Definitely.
And
No,
just
I
like, yeah.
agree. I like serve as well. I bartend for events and things like that. And the people that I've met are people that would be at my wedding, people that are going to be lifelong friends. So I think it's cool that to have that circle of people that aren't in the industry as well,
Oh
so you
yeah.
can balance it out. So I just having just the balance between what you're seeing every day and being around.
Absolutely. Being able to have that balance for sure is really important. I think that's been keeping me grounded.
Sure. Okay, so we're like bartenders too, bartender models.
Yay!
Hey.
Yes, look at that. I feel like that's the most common side hustle. Like anyone that I talk to in the industry, models, actors, anyone you name it, they're like doing nightlife
For
or
sure.
they're like bartending, working at breweries, like just doing all the little side hustles. Because I even just picked up a side job as a TikTok live streaming host.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, and also like I love it personally because it helps me get more comfortable in front of the camera
Right.
because it doesn't sound like a crazy time slot, right? Like you're there for 2 maybe 3 hours, but you're talking. Like you can't even leave 2 seconds to breathe unless like
Yeah.
the other person on the other side like lets you take a water break, but you're literally
Right.
just talking. Like my voice is gone by the
And
end
you're
of
on
it.
live, so it's like you have to be on, you have to, yeah. I think that's a good skill. I think all the part-time jobs do help with modeling.
Oh, for sure.
And then you'll meet more people and things like that. So I
I
think
love
it's very
it.
beneficial. What's something most people don't see behind the scenes?
I think a lot of people don't see the work that goes behind it. I think a lot of people do. For example, like I used to live in Orange County, and when I was looking for a different space, because I was just like, I want to live on my own. Like,
Yeah.
this would be like my first time actually being by myself. And, you know, you think Hollywood, oh my gosh, Hollywood. No, I didn't even.
Hollywood is, oh,
Hollywood is very exactly. and and I just remember going into the studio apartment. I didn't even bother to visit. This was during COVID, by the way. I didn't bother to visit. I was like, it was the cheapest studio apartment on the market. I'll take it. No. Like,
Hollywood is like, I'm sorry, if you live in Hollywood, God bless, but
literally.
it is, I think it's unhealthy to live there,
Oh my
like
gosh.
mentally.
No.
I've seen all the horror stories on TikTok, like people, it's like people that lived in actual Hollywood moving out of LA as a whole, just because of all the things you're around, all the things you see, the apartments. There's just like a lot of different energy there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just remember in the 1 year that I lived in Hollywood, because my parking lot, it's not attached to my building. It's like a totally separate, like public parking lot. And I remember paying extra for that just to walk like a block and a half to my building. Girl, I got followed to my apartment 7 times
I've
in
heard
one
a lot
year.
of that. Yeah,
It's
like
like all different men. And I'm like, of course this would happen. Okay, great. And plus, the building that I lived in was older. So I lived on the third floor, going up and down 3 flights of stairs every day
yeah.
and having 2 dogs. I'm like, this just is not it. Like, my poor babies, like, are they okay? So just thinking about all the different things. And I can't imagine for anyone who's lived there for long periods of time, like the 1 year just already did it for me. I was like, absolutely not. Mentally,
Yeah.
I am not okay.
I feel like if you're in Hollywood all the time, you live there, you can't escape it. I feel like LA would become draining. Also, like you said, it's very unsafe, especially now. Imagine living there in right now. Like,
Oh,
it's so unsafe.
girl, nope.
Businesses are shutting down over there. Like, it's just like a lot of like theft just because the economy is just, crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't heard anything good about anyone living in actual Hollywood.
That honestly breaks my heart because I hear about small businesses like shutting down all the time.
I
Like, I
know.
recently just heard about a couple businesses in Culver City that are struggling. Like, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere in
Yeah.
LA. And I think it's just like really hard. It's expensive. And I think when people think LA, like it's glamorous, I think they're probably specifically aiming towards Beverly Hills
Right.
and they don't think of like the rest of LA. And I'm like, no, babe, it's yeah, everywhere.
It's a grind.
It's a grind for sure. Like even when I think about downtown and like how dangerous that is, they may have mentioned my car got broken into about a month and a half ago, which was in
Yeah.
downtown, and that's like very like it's notorious for being like a very
Yeah.
unsafe place, you know. And I've had friends of mine who've like just like gotten beaten, you know, just walking around. Like it's just so I feel like almost anywhere you go, it can be really scary.
Definitely. I was managing Airbnb down there, and there was always lockdown for homicide. Like, I couldn't come and go into the places I was trying to manage because it was like, yeah, we're just, locked down for homicide, so just, stand by, but
No big
all the
deal.
time. And it's like, ooh, I'm scared. I gotta stop doing this.
Right. You're like, this is like the fourth time. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's crazy. And they were like luxury places too. Just, you never know.
Wow.
But obviously, like, it doesn't really matter if it's luxury, you're still in downtown. Like, when you're driving on the street, it's still the same area.
Absolutely. And you can have all the security in the building. You can
Yep.
have like all the different codes to even get in. Like I know in some buildings too, you even have to get scanned into the elevator to go whichever floor you want to. Like
Yep.
I feel like even with all the security, you're still surrounded by it. And you're right, like you're in it. So I think you're still having to do your best to stay as safe as you can.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm glad you're okay.
Everybody get a weapon.
You're like,
Might want to do that. I'm just kidding. Not really.
oh my gosh, no, but I'm just like legit. I'm so glad you're okay. Cause like, girl, if I heard homicide lockdown, I'd be like,
Yeah, I'm like,
Mom, I love you. Gosh.
and then you don't even know who it is. So it was like, yeah, they were like looking to catch the suspect.
So you didn't even know who the suspect was. You're like, whoever that is, I guess I'll find out. Oh my God.
That was crazy.
Oh,
Never again.
no, no. Ugh.
Moving on to inspiration and advice. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out pursuing their dreams here?
Don't be hard on yourself. It's going to take a lot of work, it's going to be effort. But I feel like the more you meet people in the industry, the more people you talk to, and you get an idea of like where they're coming from, their backstory, what they have going on, and you realize, okay, like we're pretty much all in this together.
Right.
We're all doing the several side hustles. We're all doing what it takes to make it here and to become something that we've been wanting to be. And my advice to you would be to just not give up, as corny or cliche as that might be, just to keep pushing forward. And especially if it's something you genuinely love and are passionate about, it has to work out, and it always does. I think consistency is also a part of it, and surrounding yourself with really good people, which I know that can be a little tough in LA for a lot of people, but I've been like so blessed to be able to have just like a solid group. And I think it's just those who are going to encourage you to keep going
Right.
on your journey, because you're going to you're going to look back and think, okay, like I had to go through that to get there. So just remind yourself, like, this is a part of the journey. This is a part of the success story. And I think once you take that and run with it and you keep going, what is it that Gen Z says now? Like, do it for the plot.
Do
like,
it for the plot.
do it for
That's
the plot.
my vibe.
Yes,
yeah, do it for
that's
the plot. You never know where it's gonna go.
no, never. Like, I literally was talking to my roomie a few days ago. I was just like, Lily, I am freaking out because how the heck am I going to make rent for next month? Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just don't know. And she was just like, Well, before you think of anything drastic or crazy, because she knows me, I'll come up with some crazy, weird plan. She's like, before you freak out, look through some stuff. If you have some stuff you can sell, just get rid of it.
Depop.
Depop, I just started OfferUp. We'll never post a photo of myself on there ever again.
Oh my gosh.
Like
I don't even want to know.
I had to block like 7 men on OfferUp yesterday because they were just like not even like about anything that I'm selling, and I'm like, I refuse. This is not the new Tinder. Okay, you guys.
I feel like OfferUp is like the new Craigslist.
Is it really?
Kind of. It can be. I feel like that audience is like the same. It could be the same vibe.
Dang. So you would recommend Depop?
I think OfferUp is good, but I have had some weird people. But I think Depop is like a bit safer. But you do have to like ship your own stuff, or you could do a local drop off. But you never know.
You don't. Guys, okay, so I did a drop off yesterday, and thankfully, like, this person was so sweet. She was like, no, like, I'll come to you, which at first I didn't know if this was a man, a woman. I didn't know who I was talking to. Their profile was blank, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, all I can do right now is hope that this is going to be a really nice customer. Because again, I got approached by at least like 7 different guys on the app yesterday. And then so I was literally just like standing outside of my local Target, having my stuff like, okay, like who am I selling to? And then she comes out the store and we look at each other with the look, and I'm like, thank God. I am so thankful because I can't even tell you the day I had. And she was like, no, you're so good. She was just like, I'm so sorry. She probably thinks I'm some kind of serial killer. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a little scared, but seeing you just felt like such a weight has been lifted. So
right, I'm always so happy when it's a girl. I'm like,
yes,
God,
yes,
you never know.
You never know. So I was like grateful for that, but like with that, I am also going through some stuff right now. So for anyone who's watching and they feel a little discouraged, like even for people who may seem like, oh my gosh, they have it all figured out, like they're doing so well. No, it happens to us too.
Yeah, literally,
sure.
Yeah. Struggling, like trying to sell stuff on Depop, OfferUp, trying to, just hustle.
Exactly.
I feel like we're all doing a million things to make the bigger picture work, and we're not going to just start recording and put that on Instagram.
Exactly.
Like when I'm breaking down and crying, I'm not going to be like, wait, hold on. Let me press play and then start creating content. I think that's the hard part too about like social media. You want to like share a realistic idea of your life, but it's like when I'm sad, I want to curl up in a ball, cry, call my family and friends, and eat ice cream.
Yes.
Not like talk to the camera.
No, literally. You're like, this is what I need a break from in this moment, And I think about that too sometimes, where even I mentioned that I guess bartender, beer tender. Like I've never posted my job because I also don't want people to know where I work. Like
that's the hard part too.
That is hard. So I do want to let everyone know, like I have a couple of side hustles too, but it's just like trying to differentiate, like, okay, what do I post on social media? Because I want to feel like people can relate to me. Yeah. And then what do I keep private, or like if I want to share this, like how do I go about sharing it?
Yeah, to keep yourself protected and safe too.
Yeah, you just never know.
You never know. There's a lot of stalkers out there.
Oh, girl. You gotta tell me twice.
Moving on to mental health and wellness. What impact has this industry had on your mental health, and how do you maintain a healthy mindset?
I think initially, and don't get me wrong, I still have my moments every now and then too, but I think initially because all of this was just so brand new to me, I didn't know how to navigate the industry. I didn't know what to expect or what to do. I didn't know how to show up. But then, as time went on, I realized like the best thing that I can do is show up as myself.
Right.
And I think like as long as you're doing that, and I think I may have mentioned earlier one of my affirmations, like if you move with a big heart, you'll always win, like you'll never lose. Right. So I think like moving with that mindset and mentality as well, and just reminding yourself of the bigger picture, and just like thinking about, even if like it's just you rooting for you, like that's what's going to be important. Even though like you do have like a solid circle and they're rooting for you, like you also have to really believe in yourself, and like being so freaking delusional in yourself, like things that you even are just like, there's just no way. Yes, there is a way, first of all.
There's always a way.
There's always a way, you know? And I think it's just like living in full, yeah, living in full delusion. And I think also finding hobbies.
Yeah,
Also,
that's important.
that's so important, you know, because sometimes I'll do a casting and they'll ask, so what do you like to do for fun? I'm like, this is so sad. Like, I can't come up with anything that I like to do for fun. And I just realized I need to have a life outside of constantly trying to chase the next job,
Yeah.
trying to, like, you know, just make everything work. I need to actually live my life. And now I
For
can
sure.
actually say things like, I love to take my dogs, you know, anywhere outdoors and have a good time. Like, I love to do kickboxing and just having that outlet because I can't just go out and punch people. Like, I'm going to find
Right.
something else to punch. So,
Right.
like, that's like a great outlet too. And journaling's helped a lot.
Oh yeah,
Journaling.
journaling is everything.
Journaling's
That's
everything.
definitely a part of my routine. And I can't wait to do the kickboxing with you.
Oh my gosh, yes, we're
We've been
supposed
trying to go, but
Yes.
the scheduling,
That
I'm like,
too.
that's my fault. Well, we both have stuff that's popped up.
Popped up. But no, first of all, I love that you're booked. That's like absolutely a wonderful thing to have. And two, like, I feel so bad making you do the drive because I know, like, it's a
It's all
push.
good. I actually like that area because I used to live over there. So
Oh, did you?
yeah, I lived over there for like 6 months in 2021.
Mm.
So I like that area. So I'm excited to like do a little drive. We're not gonna say
Yeah.
where it's at.
No, definitely not, but it's beautiful.
Yes.
Yes, very like homey. It's comfortable. I love
Yeah,
it.
for sure. A little home away from home.
Yeah. There you go.
How do you deal with the pressures of social media and public scrutiny?
I think when I look at social media and if I see comments that are there to bring me down, that person behind the screen just has to be sad.
Yeah.
Sad, miserable, projecting. And a lot of the time, too, it's someone with one or two followers, maybe even none, like protected page, or maybe just like some, I don't know, random spam page. And it's like, okay, so you can't bring yourself to show who you are, but you're
Yeah.
here commenting some weird shit on my social media, which I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
I can't be upset at that. But I also know, like, going back to, I can't take it personally.
Right.
And I think it's also just like thinking of the bigger picture and knowing that I'm doing this like for the representation of girls who look like me.
For sure.
You know, because I'm just like so grateful that, you know, women come up to me or anybody for that matter who DM me and are just like, you inspire me. Like, thank you so much, like, for, you know, just being you, like being the representation. So for me, even if I see some trolls, I'm like, okay, but also I get paid to do this. So
Right.
it's like,
And anyone who's happy with themselves is not coming to do that and
Oh,
bring
yeah.
negativity.
absolutely.
But yeah, I definitely have dealt with that too. I think I had a job this year and it got picked up by a bunch of like outlets and stuff. And I was just like, I know something's going to happen with all these views on it. I'm like, oh, here we go. But it was interesting because there were like some negative comments, but then there was a whole debate in the comment section, people clapping back at the negativity, like, you guys want, you know, natural bodies and representation. It's here now. Like, what do you want? Like, why are we putting down what you're asking for?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. It's just very interesting. It's like you can never win. That's like how I ignore it too. It's like you can never win.
Yeah.
Like, you go get surgery, you're like, you know, scrutinized for that. If you don't, scrutinized for that. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those
whatever.
things. It is, which is just like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You have to do what makes you happy. You have to do what's going to be best for you. I just really believe like you can even do all the things. And I think like I want to use this as an example. I unintentionally lost a lot of weight, over 30 pounds. And for me, I didn't even realize it initially. It just kind of happened. I was in a really terrible relationship last year, so that definitely took part, played a role in
That'll do it.
That'll do it, you know? Like, I won't get too much into it, but I started like dropping the weight. It definitely wasn't, you know, planned. And then I think that tied in with so many people viewing other models, influencers who go to modern medicine for that same effect, where it's just like people maybe even question like if I'm doing that, which is definitely not the case because I think, you know, again, everything's constantly changing. Like,
Right.
clients looking for different models, different people for different seasons. And it's just like you never know what to expect. So now,
Right.
even in this era of people turning to modern medicine, it can make people feel like, oh, dang, like I have to maybe gear towards that because, the
Right.
pressures of all that. So I think, like, when people come forward and like, say, make those comments about how I've lost weight, I was like, oh, I promise you it wasn't intentional. And even with me working out consistently, I do it as like an outlet for me to keep my
For sure.
sanity.
For
Like
sure.
I need to, I would have definitely gone insane. But
Right.
that definitely came with that.
Definitely. I just feel like at the end of the day, like people need to do what works for them, and like woman's body is no one's business. If you want to get surgery, get surgery. If you want to turn to modern medicine, do that. If you want to work out and it makes you happy, for your mental, or if you have a fitness goal, cool. If you want to lose weight, gain weight, cool. Like you have to do what's healthy for yourself. And I'm just so tired of our bodies just being questioned and
Yeah.
just the standards. I'm like, worry about yourself.
We're in that
Please.
part. Are you okay? Are
Are
you
you
taking
okay?
care of yourself? Like,
Right.
it's just, I've always been that person where it's just like, you have to do what's best for you.
Right.
And maybe say if it is, for example, like turning to modern medicine, or if that's what you want to do, if it's what you just like need to do, like, do it. Who cares? I just feel like our bodies are the least interesting things about us.
Right.
Like, why are we so focused on our appearance? And I
Correct.
think even just showing up as ourselves and being the representation, you and I both, doing this, it's like
Yeah,
showing up as ourselves, being the best that we can be.
for sure.
It's important.
Amen. So, looking to the future, where do you see your career going in the next 5 years?
Gosh, the next 5 years. Girl, I can barely think of
I
now.
know.
Well, in the next 5 years, I definitely hope to do more public speaking because that was one of the main things that I told myself that I would do is to speak to younger audiences. Like, I want to
Yeah,
speak to teens, preteens, women in general, or anyone who just needs to hear possibly my story or anything that I have to say regarding, like my body image. And hopefully, that'll be of service to them. But another thing that I told myself when I started modeling was my bucket list thing to do is to do a TED Talk. I would
ooh, that
die.
would be so iconic.
Yes, I would love, love, love to do a TED Talk. So I'm definitely working on my public speaking. I definitely also have considered the idea. I don't know how I would execute it, but I would also love to open my own modeling agency.
Ooh, I could totally see you doing that. That would
Thank
be
you.
really cool.
Yeah,
We're manifesting. We're
we're
manifesting.
manifesting. And the thing is, I don't want to be like just an agency. I want to be like of guidance to anyone that I decide to take on because a lot of the time, and I'm sure you know this too, we get thrown into the industry like it's a shark tank. We
Literally.
do not know ever what to expect. And even agencies, sometimes when they take us on, they're not really guiding us into the direction we need to go. It's just
Yeah,
a lot of the time we're figuring it out ourselves.
correct.
So
Yeah,
maybe like incorporating a course or something that'll at least give the models an idea of what to expect,
for
or
sure.
just like maybe some source of education, because I think a lot of the time there is a lack of that.
Definitely, for sure. I feel like it's definitely character building. Going on like auditions, castings, there are so many things you're asked of that no one could ever prepare you for. I don't know. Like, there's not that much education out there for you to be prepared for a lot of the things. Like, there's so many strange things that people ask you to do on the spot, but I do think each time it gets easier and the more you experience you have, the more confident you are. But when I tell my friends in the industry of the things that I did at an audition, they're like, "What? Like, what is that? How do you do this?" Like,
Yeah.
mentally. But yeah, I think that'd be really cool to have some like different kind of course for an agency because
Yeah.
she's gonna open it up.
Period.
I
Yes.
can see that
For
totally.
sure. And just, not add the pressure on to like anyone that I decide to take on because it's also there's so many crazy stories and I'm sure you've heard crazy stories from other models too where their agents are like, "Oh, you need to lose X amount of weight and be this size in order,"
Oh yeah,
or just like get kicked off.
crazy stories.
Crazy stories. So I just like would never want to put that pressure because at the end of the day, like it's the representation that matters.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this concludes episode 2. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It's been so cool learning more about you. And yes, we're going to be doing a lot more in the next coming year, I can see.
I'd love that. Absolutely. Yes.
So, is there anything that you want to announce that you're working on, or where anyone can find you on Instagram? Or
Yeah. So if you guys want to find me on Instagram or TikTok, I'm at Sharon the Claw. I don't know if I should spell that out, but Sharon the Claw on both.
We'll put it on the screen here.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. That was on cue.
Yes, that was really perfect. I
Excited.
loved that.